Morning.
Hi, how are you this morning?
Pretty well.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. What shall I do to make you all prove to me that you're awake and alive? Besides saying good morning. Maybe if you don't want to turn your camera on, or you can think of one, you should put a song that you really like right now in the chat. Leslie, I can't do math, so we can't do that. But what we can do is share music with each other. Hi. Oh my gosh, are you on a bus?
Yeah, we have a scooter. That's why we are on the way. That's
Okay,
why.
responsible.
Thank you.
Welcome. 2 + 2, 17.
May I turn off my camera because of the
Yeah, of
connection here?
course. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you guys a song that I like. Alexis, thank you so much for that. Fly in my room. But this isn't a song, but I just drove 5 hours and I listened to a musician called Rye. It's pretty great. Very soothing. If you want to be soothed. Okay. Hamilton soundtrack. Can you rap, Yuki? Can you
No,
got
I
bars?
can't do any of the raps, but my favorite song is the Burn song, which is about Hamilton
Oh.
cheating on his wife, and I sing it and I stare straight into my husband's eyes really threateningly.
I love that. I just saw Hamilton like 5 years late.
Good.
Recently. So doing my civic duty, being a good American. Don't worry, guys, I've been voting for the last like 4 years, so it's okay. Every breath you take. Oh, that's so dramatic, Tunya. I love that. Is that like the 80s rock song? Are we on this? Yeah, okay. I love that. That was an unexpected response. Okay. Ooh. Yes, we've got the army. That took a minute to load in my head. Army in the vehicle. Oh, see, I don't know. That's such a cute song in English. Like my mom used to sing that to me. She calls my brother Sunshine because she used to sing that to him. He's not Sunshine. He, in fact, not fun. Just kidding. Okay. Do you want me to keep making people talk about music, Yuki, or shall we jump in? We ready?
I think we're good. I think we're
Okay.
good. This is great. It's
Okay.
a good playlist.
Well, thanks for sharing songs, everyone. Music's such a personal thing, so I appreciate you all sharing that. Okay, I'm gonna go over the goals for today and our agenda quick, and then I'm gonna hand it to Leslie, and we're gonna get started. A minute late, even, if you will. My gift to everyone else. Okay, so welcome. Good morning. Our goals for today are to use multiple perspectives on sustainability, which is kind of a very big part of everything VIA does, to uncover different ways for projects to be sustainable, and also to build skills for self-compassion so that we can continue doing difficult work for the long term, which hopefully will be useful in all areas of life. So we're going to do an icebreaker. Then we are going to relate the Sustainable Development Goals and PPP, doing an activity together. We'll take a break, get some coffee, stand up, do some stretches. I can make you all do Ragio Taisto if you want. So much fun. We're gonna do some journaling about the grant application process, and then talk about self-compassion and sustainable leaderships. And then we will do next steps and workshop time. And we're going to have so much fun. So thank you all for joining us today from everywhere that you are, including on a bus. We're so happy to see your faces. Okay. Go, Liz.
All right, it's me. So we just have a question for our icebreaker, and it is, what are your favorite activities that make you feel connected to your environment or community? So I guess I will start. So for me, I think it's just volunteering. Or doing something for other people, like service. A big part of my job now is kind of doing that. I work a lot with volunteers, and they're just here to donate their time. And I think that makes me feel like, oh, everyone is doing something together as a community for the greater good. So that's an example of something I do to feel connected to my community. I guess just go to work. But I will pass it to Carrie.
I think I also feel really connected to my community when I volunteer for different events. And then also like the small community classes I really enjoy. I get to know a bunch of different people that work in different areas, and it's a place that I love going to. And I have a lot of random hobbies, so it works. I'm going to pass it to Pensukai.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. For me as well, volunteering make me feel connected with my community. When I was a university student, I participated in many activities that launched in my university. So blood donations campaigns or other community activities. So yeah, volunteering is definitely an activity I like to connect with my community. So I will pass to Elaine.
Thank you. I think for me also volunteering, I love to connect with especially kids. I love to teach at them, and I want to hear their opinions and how they are thinking. And also I like to go out and be in the nature, and like sometimes I go for a walk and sometimes I just drive around the city, and then I try to see the stories, like stories happening whenever I go to a restaurant. And one time I was eating there, and then in here in Vietnam there are some older people and they cannot make a lot of money, so they try to sell small stuff. So while I was eating, that man come into the in the restaurant, and then he tried to sell something, and then there is a table next to me. There are a lot of men sitting there, and then that group of men called that man to sit with them and have a dinner together. So I think it was just an act of kindness, and it can make me like a lot of emotional, and I really love to see that kind of humanity and that kind of help and support happening in our environment and community. So I feel really connected. So I try to find that kind of stories everywhere, and then I try to keep, actually I want to make them an illustrated storybooks, but I couldn't commit enough time for myself, so I just keep them in my heart. So yeah, so let me pass it to Mud Style.
Yes, I think like I want to talk like the two parts. So the one is ball game. So when I play ball game with my like college, which is like really connected, with band, and also I'm also can learn their insight. What is their insight? Their behavior. So I really love it. For the community, I'm lately like I give it time to listen you know, because like last I think 1.5 year, I'm not sure like I think maybe I'm older. Most of people like came and talked to me. Do you have any time? I want to talk something. They are kind of like I just listen to them, and also like sharing like what are the things that they can do. So I kind of like I feel connected by giving a time to listen with them, so I can learn, what they are happening, and also what I can do for them. Yeah. So kind of like, listening part. Okay, I will pass it to HN.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, for me too, I really love volunteering because during the COVID, I have experience volunteering for over like 3 years. And I meet a lot of friends and a lot of people from many cities. And like this is a really this we can see like this in our person, like like it's really rare to see them, but I can meet from online, and I really love them. I can meet many people from online, and I really love to see them. Because like by volunteering, we can connect to each other, and we can share our ideas and thoughts, and we can exchange our favorite things. So I really love volunteering. And another one is like working in a team, because by working in a team, like we can know each other very friendly and very easily, and we can share each other's stories and each other's thoughts and ideas to make a project or to make a work. So these two are my favorite activities to feel connected with my community and environment. Okay, so I will pass it to Suyan now.
Thank you, Enchami. As for me, my favorite one is also volunteer to after COVID. I volunteer in many organization, educational organization, like in Islamic organization or other educational foundation in church or in monastic school. I like to how can I say? I like to work in that different different area or different religion because I think it's my opinion, it's my personal opinion, because I think people are stuck under the label of the religion or under the ethnic or other something like that. We feel that most of the people are stuck under the labeling. That's why I contribute in the different religious organization group, and I'm trying to figure out, I trying to let them know what the human is, right? The thing, how can I say, if we remove our label or outer layer, we are just human, right? We have to kind each other, we have to support each other to have a, how can I say, lovely family or lovely society, right? I would like to know other students to have this kind of sense. That's why I contribute in many religious organizations for education. Yes, thank you. So, hi, Julia. Yes.
Hello. Hi, Sue. I am still checking. So sorry I was late today. I'm still looking at the icebreaking question. So, what are your favorite activities that makes you feel connected to? Oh, thank you. Okay, let me quickly turn on my camera. Gosh, hi everyone. I was running around this morning. I had a long day already, but so happy to see all of you. My favorite activity to actually connect with people is I talk. I usually, I'm always ready with a question. My friends are like, oh, here comes Julia. She's gonna ask us something. Like, I really feel like we can actually create meaningful connection within each other when we actually get to know each other. And my way of communication is I try to initiate or try to I don't know. For me, I personally think I'm doing what I'm doing or what I always try to do is like I try to let people talk, like whatever they want to share, whatever they have to share about themselves. And that way, like communication is two-way, like it goes to both ways. And when people are starting to like, well, I have a lot of friends who are very introverted, who like talking a lot with me, fighting with me, but like whatever the other person would be, as long as the conversation is going and we could share about each other, that is when we build trust, and that is when we choose to share, like what is it deep inside, what is it that they are facing and encountering. That's, I don't know, that's how I build the habit. And I love like I don't know, having conversation with people. And most of my friends, they run away when they see me. I don't want to talk right now. But usually I always like they appreciate me for asking questions and trying to build a conversation. So and that yeah, that's how I do most of the time. I love talking and I love having conversation with people that I care about. That's it. It's so nice seeing all of you. Oh my god, I can't get. I keep scrolling in on and off, trying to see everybody's faces. Who else needs to talk right now? Who else needs to share what their favorite activity is? Ellie? Come yet. Okay. Here you go. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you. Before you guys came, I gave a question answer, but I just want to give another answer because I'm now really thinking into it. How can I say it? Now I'm on a work trip. Going to Taunji and Mandalay. One of the purpose of my trip is to go to the community-based schools from the rural area, as I said before, to the extreme rural areas. Honestly, I don't literally know about community-based school in ethnic states when I was in university. I was really stuck with the studying, and I don't get to know about much about the ethnic minorities and some other things like that. When my university life has stopped, and then I came into an education industry and get to know about that. Now, yesterday and the day before that, I went to some rural area in Shan State, where there are many community-based schools, where the facility is very, very like scarce, and also the resources are very fewer than, like, how can I say, there are many children and students, but there are just one or two teachers, and their building are very like, how can I say, very poor for that. But one thing that I'm glad to see is that some young people like who are the same age with me is working there to help for their community. But I'm really inspired by looking at them, and also want to do that kind of work like them, but I still can't do that. It's like, saying about that is very easy, but if we decide to practically work that, it's really difficult. Like, we have to move from our home. We won't get the good meals, the regular fine meals that we regularly get, and we couldn't get the facility and amenities that we get daily. So but at least I spend 1 or 2 days to stay with them and enjoying the children from ethnic minority groups. But I'm still thinking to stay at that community-based school with some teachers like me, like I mean at about the same age with me. So I haven't done that kind of activity for a long time, but that will be my favorite activities that I feel connected to my environmental community, because they are really in need of help, and really in need of like that to provide the like many things, facility, knowledge, education, all the things. You like, many people from Myanmar know that, but like Yuki or some other from foreign country, I'm not sure you might know that, like that kind of harmonization, because these people from ethnic minority groups are not very developed. They, like, how can I say, I'm not sure I could say that, but they are being colonized by like our old country. I could see that. So, oh no, am I free?
We can hear
Can you
you.
hear me? Okay. So yeah, that's all about it. So yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna pass to somebody.
Okay, sorry. It's just to you, Yuki.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So yeah, when we were talking before, I also shared about volunteering, which I've really been enjoying, but I'm gonna change my answer. It's springtime where I live now, and one thing that I love in all the different seasons is to go foraging. So it's like picking, wild foods that grow in my neighborhood. And it's really interesting because every single time I go out and pick food, which is not super common practice where I live, um, every single time people will say, "What are you doing? You can eat that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's free." And then I can share this knowledge with other people in my community, and especially little kids. They love the idea of like picking wild foods and being able to eat them. But it's also interesting because I get to teach them, that there are a lot of, there are a lot of safe foods to eat, but there's also a lot of poisons. And so I think a lot of times kids are really excited by the poisonous things too, because you're like, oh, the world is so dangerous. So that's been a really great way that I connect with my physical environment, the plants in my environment, but also the people who come by and see me doing something weird. And I'm going to pass it to who's left. Hannah, did you go? I don't think Hannah went.
I didn't.
Okay.
Okay. I do two things, I think lately. I'm learning how to do these two things. One is cooking. I can cook. I just didn't really do it with great excitement in the past. So like cooking for other people, I think has made me have to learn a new way to care for other people because I'm very comfortable cooking for myself, but like preparing a lot of things for other people is different. Which is fun because all of my friends are like really high stress people. So it's very nice they're very lovely, but they're all pretty hard on themselves. So it's nice to feed them. Because it's nice to take care of them. And another one thing that I learned that I love doing, which is really weird, but it's so much fun, is I have this, I've definitely told Carrie about this before. I have this like sugaring paste. So it's this like it looks like honey, and you put it on your body and then you rip it off and it pulls out your body hair. And you can like do it on your legs or on your arms or your back. And all of my friends ask me to do that for them. And I'm not a very big physical touch person. So it's this like very interesting way that I have learned to like physically care for my very close friends. And it's very sweet because a lot of them, it's something they would only let a professional or like their mother do. So it feels very familial to do this kind of, to rip hair out of their bodies. But it's also nice because it's not just like my close female friends, but like my male friends, I will do this on their backs because they grow more hair on their backs, I guess. So yeah, it is violent, but it's also really sweet because for a lot of people, like I personally think body hair is up to you. Like if you want to keep it and that makes you feel good in your body, that's amazing. Some people, like one of my friends, he's a teacher and his students make fun of his back hair a lot, which is really sad. And he's very hairy. So it was like this very freeing thing for him because it also lasts longer than shaving. So I did it on his birthday. I waxed his back. So it's not that bad. Anyways, that's a new thing that I like to do. So if you're ever in the area and you want your back or legs waxed, give me a call. I'm not a child. Legally, I'm an adult, by the way. Kids are so mean. Or are you talking
No,
about
but
little kids?
the kids that made fun of the teacher.
I was about to be like 4 years and you're calling me a kid now?
You are very young.
I know that's
No.
not the point. That's why I took offense to it. It's okay. Anyways, I'm sorry. Alexis, did you go yet? I don't think you did.
No, I did not. My big thing, I really like walking places. Like I live in a walkable community, and so I can walk pretty much everywhere I need to go. And it's something about like going from like my front door and never like getting in a car or doing anything, and then just like walking straight to like a cafe that just makes me feel so connected with the place I'm living in, and also just like it gets me outside and I'm breathing fresh air. It's just the best. So that's the big thing for me. I'm not sure if Chitwe and Ai-chan wanna try sharing. I know you're on the bus, so it's okay if you're unable to. But I think otherwise we've had everyone talk. So we can pass it back to Leslie maybe.
Yeah. So we hope that, you know, you keep all these things that everyone mentioned, those are great. And we hope that you remember that it's not you should make time to do these things, but it's that you have to. Because I think it's really important to make sure, you know, you're not isolated, and doing these things make you feel more connected to the community. And I think that's important, as part of, you know, taking care of yourself, making sure you are still connected to other people. And I think, like, as in general, all of us are already kind of involved, or I guess this program just, you know, attracts this type of person, that is already, you know, in community service or like is interested in this stuff. So remember, if you have to do this, or else I'm gonna. But just kidding. Yeah. So I will pass it back to Alexis.
Hello. So we're going to do a little, yes, please feel free to write in the chat, Chitwe and Ai-chan. We'd love to hear. But in the meantime, we're going to do a little activity to go over some of the topics we covered this week. And we're going to play a game that's a Zoom chat waterfall. And so we're going to do a test run first. But basically, I'm going to ask a question, and then you're going to answer it in the chat, but you're not going to press enter until I say go. So the first question is, what is your name? And we're going to wait to enter until I say go. So I'm going to start typing my name. Okay. Is everyone good? We're going to do it. 3, 2, 1, enter. Oh, that was so beautiful, everyone. That is exciting. I love the sentence, Suyadanar. That's perfect. Above and beyond. Okay, so the first question is, what is one of the 3 Ps? And we will. All right. So 3, 2, 1. Ooh, beautiful. And I'm seeing every one of them. So that would be people, planet, and profit. Very good work, everyone. And I am Chitwe, and Ai-chan actually said their activity, so I'm going to share it with everyone. But for us, we like to open people's eyes and let them know what they don't know, which makes us have the best feeling ever. And that's really beautiful. So yes, so the next question is, what is one of the words that makes up the Jedi acronym? Okay. Now, 3, 2, 1. Well, equity is a very popular one. Okay, so we've got equity and we've got diversity, but does anyone want to, oh, there we got justice. And does anyone have Our I, inclusion. Amazing. That is everything. Very good work, everyone. Yay. So this actually feeds really nicely into the activity we're going to be doing today. So basically what we're going to be trying to do is connect some of the sustainable development goals with the 3 Ps. So yes. And basically we want to do this for a few reasons. What are those reasons? Here they are. So all of our projects are connected to sustainability in a variety of ways. And we know that. This activity will help us relate different forms of sustainability with each other and understand how they might be connected with each other. So we'll go ahead and do an example one. So for the example, we've decided to pick Sustainable Development Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. And the goal here is to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So to connect it to people, you could ask, how could better planned cities help people? And the answer we have for that is that creating walkable cities allows people to access doctors and grocery stores and just other resources that they would need to live happy and healthy lives. A question you might ask to understand how it connects to planet is, how could better planned cities help the planet? And the answer we have for that is that better public transportation leads to fewer carbon emissions. And profit, how can better planned cities help businesses make profit? And when people are located closer to services, they spend more money on coffee, as we all know. Does anyone have any kind of ideas that they think are popping up as they see this go through about how this goal can connect to all 3 of the 3 Ps? Cool. And you can type it at any pace you want. Or not. It's up to everyone. But we can, so basically we're going to have 3 breakout rooms. So the first one is going to be going over Sustainable Development Goal 4 for quality education, with a goal of ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. Room 2 will be going over Sustainable Development Goal 5 for gender equality, which is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. And room 3 will be clean water and sanitation, ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. I don't know if we've made the breakout rooms. Oh, they're good to go. So we are gonna put you in the, we're gonna share the link to this Google Slides, and we're all gonna open it together, and then we'll all go into our breakout rooms. But yes.
Okay, any questions before we send you into your breakout rooms? Any questions? Okay, I'm gonna open it up.
Welcome back, everyone. So we're just going to do a little bit of a debrief. And I kind of wanted to open the floor and just see if anyone had any thoughts after their time working on this activity. Does anyone from room 1 want to share? I'm gonna demand it if someone doesn't.
I think Hannah could do it because she writes all the things that we said in the room.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough,
Yeah.
Jinyat. Fair enough. We talked about quality education. I think it was kind of difficult, actually. I don't know how the rest of you felt, but I thought that was a challenging activity because that can mean so many things. I think the thing, we had some E4Ecos folks in our room, so the environment terms were very specific, and we immediately talked about conservation and how education can improve our respect for the place we live in, and like understanding the purpose of trees, or like how what a keystone, is it a keystone or a cornerstone species? One of you will know what I mean. like otters or beavers, how they're important, and so on, or what recycling plastic actually looks like. All these things can improve our environment. Then we talked about people and how we did a lot of comparing of education in different countries and contexts. And we talked about how quality education can improve your critical thought, but that's not currently everyone's experience. So that was interesting. It creates personal agency. I went on a tangent, my one tangent for the day, about how like research shows that women who get more education are likely to have kids later or have less kids. And also educated women, like generally that improves the quality of life in their community. I will not be citing sources for this research. Thank you. We also talked about a sense of ethics, and sometimes you get like your civic information, which can or cannot be helpful, depends on where you are. I think the hardest one was businesses though, because education can improve efficiency and sustainability, like environmental sustainability in a business. It can improve the quality of the product that a business is creating or the service it's providing. It can also be not helpful for businesses though, because if you have an educated workforce, they maybe understand their rights and are less likely to be mistreated in the workplace. We also talked about like trade specific knowledge is helpful in kind of certain for certain businesses, but having a more interdisciplinary knowledge might be helpful in another business. So that was maybe the most challenging. And that's what we talked about in room 1, the end.
No, that's really awesome. In my brain, I just thought about like, oh, like education businesses, they exist. I didn't even think about how like an educated workforce is often a more profitable workforce. So that's super. Does anyone from room 2 want to share now?
I can share if no one wants to share from my room. But does anyone want to share from room 2? If not, you can share. Going once.
Yeah,
Leslie,
Leslie, you can.
please go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go. So for us, the topic is gender equality. So, you can see the question, how could more equal treatment of all genders help people? I think this was kind of hard to put into words, because if you think about it, well, of course we want to have equal treatment of all genders, because that just means that, better quality of life, just more opportunities for them to, like whether it be education or career opportunities. So we talked about how, well, it's a win-win situation, because equal treatment means, like you are on more equal footing and you can have a better connection with other people. And it's just a better society, basically. And Julie also talked about how it's a step closer to basically peace for everyone. You're building a better world, which sounds very idealistic, I guess, but that's why we have this goal. And if you think about it, in history, there are a lot of, all the famous like scientists, all these inventors, they were all men. But if you think about it, I think it's a lot of lost potential, because if more women have equal opportunities, maybe that means like you have like all these women who could probably make more advancements in society. So that means better society. And then for planet, we talked about how, well, a more educated population, that they have access to environmental, like just knowledge about, hey, how do we provide or protect the environment? That means you have more people that are conscious of what to do, stuff that they'll take actions that will be good for the planet, and that could also contribute to like a better economy, that we're not wasting as much if more people just know about what to do to protect the planet. And then lastly, for profit,
So I think Hannah also mentioned this a little, but it's all kind of connected with education. That could mean that, you know, hey, we have more people that are educated about worker rights, and maybe businesses don't like that because then they can't like take advantage of workers as much. But at the same time, it could mean that you have like all these women that maybe were stuck in the home before that could now be contributing to like the economy out in the workforce. And if you have more opportunities for women, you'll have maybe hopefully more female leaders, and that could also introduce a new perspective with more creativity in business and organization. And and I already talked about the second one, but yeah, basically more efficient workforce. Does anyone want to add to that from room 2? If not, I will pass it back to Lexi.
Yeah, I will tell from the profit number sentence too, like, you know, when there's a limit in some of the places, like female or girls can do in this place, we are not allowed females anymore. There are some situations, so I add this this sentence because when we are providing or making the rules like all genders can make in this place, we can get a lot of workforce, like how can I say, like it's work power, like for the business we can get a lot of money from this, and we can promote our business, like it's like a promotion, or like we can get a lot of profits from this place. So like more efficient our workforce, more people can work if they are all trained and educated. Like like when we are trained and like educated in working in this place, we can get a lot of profit, and we can get a lot of how can I say, like, yeah, it's like a lot of profit from the place. So yeah, it's like profit sentence too.
Does anyone else have anything from group 2? I think it's interesting that room 1 talked about gender equality a little bit, and room 2 had the challenge of talking about gender equality in itself, which is, it is difficult. It's like a kind of a very broad topic. But in our room, in room 3, we also did talk about some gender equality stuff as well. So I think it's a very central topic in sustainability. But does anyone from my room want to share now? No, I can do it. Yes. ABC. I believe in you guys. Okay, I can do it if you insist. So in room 3, we were doing clean water and sanitation, which is just ensuring the availability of and sustainable management of water and sanitation. And we found people and planet were easier, but profit was quite challenging. But basically, clean water directly impacts human health, and having clean water can prevent things like waterborne illnesses. I like to make the point that like looking at clean bodies of water is just pleasant. We like to look at a nice lake, and trash in the water is just, that's not fun. That's not something you do for fun. And then the way that actually we connected it sort of to gender equality is that sanitation is really important for women, especially with like menstrual products, and being able to like properly manage menstruation, their periods, and having good sanitation and access to sanitation for all is a part of their ability to participate fully in society. For the planet, just preventing pollution in general is good. Pollution of water is good for the planet. But also just waste management is really good sanitation can prevent, pollution events and like ecological disasters. Carrie kind of brought up the talk about like algae blooms having major impacts in our water systems. So for profit, it was kind of challenging, I think, because we often think of like water and sanitation as a more public resource in many cases. So it can be hard to think of things that are profitable. But just being able to produce clean water can be a financial opportunity. If there isn't clean water, you can't give it to people and you can't make money off of it. And talking about like kind of encouraging the public to contribute to things, kind of like talked about creating like a water via program where we're just kind of like, oh, what are projects that could work? And then we could fund those projects and it kind of is a possibility for making money. And then we kind of ended it off talking a little bit about like hydroponics, which is like growing plants in water. And, like that can help keep water clean. It also incentivizes keeping water clean, but you can produce a profit off of the plants that you would be selling. So that is how we kind of ended that. But does anyone from my room want to add to that at all or chit chat? No. Okay. Well, we have break time, I think, next. Is that correct, Yuki?
Yes. So we're gonna go for a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna transition to talking a little bit about different topics, self-compassion. And you just need 2 things. So when you come back, bring a pen or pencil and a piece of paper. And I know Chitwin and Itanwadi are on the bus, so you can just use your imagination if you can't find paper and pen. Okay, so we'll come back in 10 minutes. We'll get coffee, do a little stretch, whatever you need. So we're gonna transition now. So Alexis led us through discussion about people, planet, profit, and this UN Sustainable Development Goal. So we're thinking about sustainability in this very like big and broad sense. And for the second half of our call, I want to invite us to think about sustainability a little bit differently and kind of look inwards to ourselves. I think that social impact work is really like beautiful and important, but it's also really, really hard. Like sometimes it's hard to know if we're, making an impact. We never have enough people to help us. We never have enough money. We never have enough time. So it's really difficult work, and sometimes we feel really frustrated or we feel like we're not making a big enough difference. And so in those moments, I want to invite us to be compassionate to ourselves, right? I think for a lot of us who do this work, it's really easy for us to be kind and compassionate to other people, and we don't give ourselves that same kind of treatment, right? We're not as kind and compassionate to ourselves. So for this second half, I want us to think about sustainability in terms of our own leadership. How can we be sustainable in our the way that we show up as leaders, right? So I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna invite a volunteer to read this for us. Is there any volunteer? Anyone who would like to volunteer? Can everyone see my screen? Yeah. Who can read this for us?
I will read this.
I love it. Thank you.
The world can't afford for you to burn out. We need you. As leaders, we will inevitably face tough situations, whether a difficult conversation, decision, or failure. Great leaders are compassionate towards themselves and others in these times so they can continue moving forward.
Thank you so much, Aylin. You have a beautiful reading voice. So I think that continue moving forward piece, that's the part that connects to sustainability for me, right? It's really easy to kind of get stuck in a negative place or, just feel like, oh, you know what, it's not worth it. It's too hard. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to stop going in this direction. But then, there's so much important work that all of you are doing. And we really need you to keep going. So one way to do that is through self-compassion. And so this is a word that you might be familiar with. Maybe you have a guess what it means. But I'm going to invite you in the chat, just write down some words or ideas or phrases, anything that comes up for you when you hear this word self-compassion. I'll give you like a minute or two. Right in the chat. What comes up for you? Trusting yourself. I love it. Treating yourself like a good friend. I love it. Patient, understanding, forgiving. Being kind to yourself. Absolutely. We have 10 more seconds. Go, go, go. Self-love. Yes. Treating myself kindly. I love it. So if there are more ideas that are coming up for you, feel free to write them in the chat. These are all excellent. Being understanding, kind, and caring to yourself. It's okay. Yes, that's a great one. It's okay. Everything is, maybe that's supposed to be hard. Slow down a little bit. Have a warm cup of tea. Yes, everything is fine. Yes, everything's fine. Yes. Great. So those are excellent responses. So these are just the things that came up for you, and we'll look in a moment at what the experts have to say. But spoiler alert, it's almost exactly what you had to say. It's hot here. I'd go for iced tea. I think hot tea on a hot day is pretty good too. Okay. So this is what the experts have to say. This comes from a researcher named Kristen Neff, and she does her, she has a PhD and she does all of her research on self-compassion. And what she teaches is that there are 3 components to self-compassion. This was really interesting for me when I learned about this, because it's not just about kindness. There are these other elements as well. So the first element she describes is self-kindness, being warm and understanding towards ourselves when we suffer, fail, or feel inadequate. A lot of you shared a response that was something like this. And when I think about self-kindness, I think about treating other people the way that I would treating myself the way that I would treat other people. And the example that I often think of is that, like, I hate crying in public. I hate it. Right. And sometimes when I cry in public because I'm so ashamed or scared or whatever, I'll hit myself on the face. I'll be like, oh, stop crying. You're so stupid. Oh, right. I mean, I think a lot of people do this kind of thing. And it's so funny because I would never do that to anyone else. Right. I would never, like, if there was a child who was crying, I would never like hit them in the face and be like, you're so stupid. Right. Like, who would do that as a monster? So, I think we need to kind of realize how not silly is the wrong word, but like, we really don't need to do that, right? We would never treat someone else that way. The second piece of self-compassion is mindfulness. So paying attention to your thoughts and emotions and not dwelling on the negative. So I think of this kind of like Aylin was saying, I'm feeling frustrated with something that's happening at work or this mean coworker, but I'm gonna set that negative feeling aside, because right now I'm at home and I want to spend time with my husband or my parents or my partner or my kids, and I don't want to bring that energy into this space. So I need to be able to set that down, right? The third piece of self-compassion is humanity. So understanding that we're not alone in our suffering or feeling inadequate, right? Like, everybody makes mistakes. It's fine and it's normal for you to feel bad when you make a mistake, right? That is totally normal, but I have to be able to move past it, right? And the reason why it's important to practice self-compassion, as Aylin read beautifully for us in the beginning, is that leaders burn out. They stop doing this important work. They get stressed out. They get depressed. It can have some very serious consequences when we don't practice self-compassion. So I think this is a really important piece, not just for sustainable projects, but also just for our own personal health. We need to learn how to practice this. And so today I want to share a tool. Oftentimes, like, we think like, oh, you have to go to like therapy for 10 years in order to practice self-compassion. Therapy is very helpful, but also there are some small tools that we can use in our everyday lives that can help us to practice self-compassion. And so I want to teach one to you today that is very easy and quick. And it's called the gratitude protocol. And this one is kind of specifically related to this mindfulness piece of self-compassion. So how does it work? Okay. So the gratitude protocol is a tool that we can use to train our brains. It's really, this training piece is key, right? Training our brains to acknowledge negative emotions without dwelling on them, just thinking about them constantly. I can't go to sleep because I'm constantly thinking about this negative thing. And you only need a few things. You need a paper and pen and 3 minutes. That's all you need. Okay, so you can practice this anywhere, anytime. Okay, so let's try it. Does everyone have paper and pen? We're good? Okay, great. So on your piece of paper on the left-hand side, I want you to write down something or someone that makes you feel bad or worried. And you don't have to share this with anyone at any time during this call. So don't stress. So something or someone that makes you feel bad or worried. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to write down something or someone that you're grateful for. And I'll give you about a minute to write that down. Oh, and these things don't have to be related to each other. They can be like totally unrelated. Give you 30 more seconds. Okay, everybody ready? You good? Okay, so if you're still writing, that's okay. I'll keep giving instructions. So the way this works, we'll think about the bad thing for 7 seconds, and then we're going to switch. It's hard, but we're going to switch our brains and then think about the thing that you're grateful for 17 seconds. And then we're going to do this 3 times. So we're going to do the good thing for 7 seconds, the bad thing for 7 seconds, the good thing for 17, the good thing for 7 seconds, the bad thing for 17, the good thing for 7. Okay, we're going to do 3 rounds of this, and I'll keep time so you don't have to worry. Okay, any questions before we start? All right, so when I say go, you're going to start thinking about the worried thing, the anxious thing. Okay, ready, go. Stop. You're going to switch and think about the thing that you're grateful for. Go. Stop. We're going to go back to the thing that makes you feel anxious. Go. Stop. We're going to think about the thing that you're grateful for. Ready, go. Okay, last round. Thinking about what makes you anxious. Ready, go. thinking about something you're grateful for. Ready, go. Stop. Okay. You know I love a reflection. So we're going to reflect on the gratitude protocol. So I'll give you 2 questions. You can think about them, answer whichever one you like. The first question is, how did it feel to do the gratitude protocol exercise? And the second question is, did you notice any changes in how you felt during the second or third repetition? I'm going to put this into the chat. And anyone can come off of mute and share anything that's coming up for you.
I'll share.
Yay, thank you.
So like I used to practice gratitude a lot, so I can list out the things really fast. But like as always, I don't know why, but whenever there is something that I need to worry, I try to replace or I try to transform these worries into the good things. These days, like before I was really worried about my job and what should happen next. So I even talked to my boss, and the boss said they can help me extend my working permit here. So everything panned out really well. So I was worried, but at the time when I was worried, I keep on saying that like I am always surrounded by the supportive people. Everything will be turns out well. So this time I also trying to recall all my worries about my future job, my job security, my stability, my finance, and then these things makes me really suffocating.
Yeah.
So it was okay while I was writing down, but we are imagining about that 7 seconds, 17 seconds, and the bad things, I can't stop them. Like I started having suffocating, and then I try to think about the good thing. So it just coming inside again. And then after 7 seconds, it just come up again. So, but like at the end, I try to think more of the gratitude that I feel, and then I feel really great after doing that.
So in the end, you ended in a good place. But I know that feeling of like, oh, I was in a good place and now I just think about this vomit thing again, you know? Oh, so painful.
Like
and
for the first, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
If
No,
it
go
is
ahead.
just for 1 round, I will end up with the good things. So, but I have to come back, come back and think about the bad things for 7 seconds again, and I don't want to do that.
Did it feel easier, maybe in the second round or the third round, or was it just as hard to do the switch?
Yeah, second round is harder, but for the third round, it was easy.
Yeah,
Easy
yeah.
to go back to that.
Yeah, I think that's the hard thing about this protocol, because my husband did it too. I did it with my husband, and he said the same thing. He was like, I don't want to think about it. You know, it's horrible. But I think that, you know, like when we make space for it, like that the practice of like moving our brain away from the bad stuff, it does take practice. So you said the second time was horrible, the third time was easy. So like, you know, if we are getting in the practice of this and we do this 10 times a day, or you know, it'll be easier as we go along. So thank you for sharing that. I also love the first thing you shared about like when you communicated something, your anxiety to your boss, you know, you didn't have to hold it inside yourself. You're able to like send it outward. So that was a good way to let go of that anxiety. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else have something that came up for them? Yeah, go for it.
Yes, I'm familiar with the gratitude practice, but this technique is focus on the bad thing and focus on the good thing. Yeah, it is my very first time to focus on the bad thing for just 7 seconds. So for the first time, yes, there are many bad things, and it's coming out, and how can I say, over the 7 seconds, it's still coming out and it's not stopping. Yeah. At the time, then I changed my focus on the good thing, and for second time, the how can I say, my bad things is become loser, and then I focus on the good thing. And for the last time, I need to think what's my bad thing. Yes. I found that most of the thing we could handle it for most of the things that we are worried about. And for the last time, I think what I need to worried about it. And then I found that after practicing 3 times, the things that I worried about are, how can I say, under my control. And I become, yes, my anxiety is become lesser and lesser. Yeah,
That's
it's
a
my
really good point. Yeah, like a lot of times the things that makes us anxious are things that are out of control, our control. So it like makes us more anxious. But like if we focus on the things where we do have control, that can help us feel better. I also loved what you shared about how your kind of mindset shifted. So like, you know, when you were thinking about gratitude, it made you think about, you know, like I don't know, it lessened the power of the negative stuff. And you know, I think Aylin has talked about like keeping a gratitude journal, things like that. But I've never kept a gratitude journal. That wasn't like a huge part of my life growing up. Nobody taught me about gratitude. And so you know, it's something that we have to learn how to do, right? If no one encourages us to practice gratitude, we're not able to have those mindset shifts that come with that practice. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I'd like to say thank you too, because I think it is they focus on the bad thing and focus on the good thing. It is more practical, because I already told you I'm familiar with the gratitude practice. At the time, I only focus on the good things. I only focus on the bad thing. But in the daily life, we have to see the duality, right? The good thing and the bad thing. When we practice this one a lot, and I think our brain will work automatically when we work, when we concentrate, when we focus on the bad thing. Okay, it, how can I say, it over the focusing on the bad thing. Yes, I think, yeah. So that's why it is more practical and useful in our daily life.
Yeah, it's a practice, and it takes, you know, like building this muscle of switching back and forth. Yeah, I love it. Any other folks want to share anything?
Yeah, I want to share something.
Yeah.
Firstly, I want to thank you for bringing this everybody to this call, because I used to practice gratitude, but it's been around 2 weeks. I haven't practiced yet. So thanks for bringing this, and this remind me to redo this again, everybody again. And I think I have been influenced by negative feelings and emotions these days. So when I think about negative things that make me worry, it comes out easily. But for the things that for good things, I have to think about for a long time, maybe more than 10 seconds. So it really, these days are really tough for me. So and I realized that when I see my good things and bad things on my paper, I realize I have good things. For example, my family, so they are always ready for me whenever I have difficult situations. So I want to thank you for thinking this about. I'm crying.
Oh, no, wait, cry. We love you. And we're sending you lots of love. Sorry to hear that you're going through a hard time, but we all love you so much. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we all have so many, you know, wonderful things going on. And it doesn't diminish, you know, the bad things. You know, those are really, like, we have to deal with them. We have to care for the bad things too. But we also can't only think about those things, or we'll get stuck. So we're grateful for you too, Francis.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I took up too much of our time. Yes, fighting. You're so cute. You are. You're wonderful.
So I'm going to talk quickly about our next steps, and then we can go into workshop time and we can continue the Love Fest. So let me share my screen quickly. Share screen. And firstly, I just want to congratulate everybody for completing their grant applications. We're going to start the review next week, so we're really excited to see what all of you have submitted. I know it was hard. I heard from a lot of folks that it was really stressful and didn't know what to write, but you did it. Okay, so for some of you, this is your first ever grant application. It is a huge deal. So yeah, congratulations. After the congratulations, I want to not criticize, but I want to remind you gently to complete your week 7 activities. There are some tasks that are still incomplete. So please remember to go back and do all of those. It's okay if it's late, but we do want to hear from all of you. So please go back and complete those activities. And if you can't, for whatever reason, just reach out to your fellow and say, I can't complete this, please excuse me. And we will say, okay, because we love you. Okay. So for week 8, this is due May 12th, so in 2 weeks. This assignment or this track is going to be all focused on empathy building. How can we build a better understanding of what our community members feel and need? So the first action is a team action, and this is all about need finding, so understanding the needs of our community and planning out our need finding process. So there's a video for you to watch. There's a template that you can use. So you just click on this one, it'll open up a template. You do not have to use this at all, but if you want to, you can use this. Basically, it's, what do I want to learn about? So maybe go back to your problem statement. Who can we learn from? So maybe go back to your stakeholder map. How will we collect information? So there's a lot of ways, right? Maybe you want to do an interview or conduct a survey online, or just observe how people behave, maybe do online research. How are we going to analyze this data and share it with the team? Do we want to take notes? Do we want to record calls? Who's going to take the lead on doing that need finding, that kind of stuff. So this is just to help you plan your need finding process. And then one way that you can conduct need finding is through empathy interviews. We think that this is a really, really important tool for need finding. So we want to encourage every single team to do at least one empathy interview per person. Okay, so if there are 2 people on your team, you want to conduct 2 interviews. If there are 5 people on your team, conduct 5 interviews. And this can be an individual or team activity in case you want to like buddy up. So maybe 2 people want to do 2 together, something like that. So just in general, just complete 1 per person. And so for this one, there's a video you can watch and just share some of the insights from your interviews. The next action is researching existing solutions. So going online, doing some research about other organizations that are doing similar work, maybe outside of Myanmar, or maybe they're doing similar work, but with a different population. So you can think about, what other solutions are out there, and of course, our weekly reflection. So that's it. That's all. Any questions? Okay, so I'm going to pass it to Carrie, and we have not as much time. I'm so sorry, but Carrie, take us away. Oh, I forgot to make breakout rooms. Go for it, Carrie.
So now we have workshop time. As always, we have office hours with Yuki. We have a networking room, a game room, a support space. So go ahead and choose whichever one you'd like to go to, or if you want to meet as a team, you can also use that during this time. And we will see you in a little bit.
Oh, everyone's going to the random room.
Well, Style saw random and immediately joined. Didn't even
Right.
discussion. She was like, I'm
That had her
going to see
name
what's
all
going on in
over it.
random. And I love that. I'm gonna go. I'll be at the support room. I don't want to stay.
Okay.
Yuki, I thought you were frozen. You like stayed so still for 2 seconds. I was like, oh my God.
I'm like a gecko.
Do you want to hear something weird I said to my coworker today?
Yes.
Okay, we were walking back from getting coffee and I saw something green and short on the ground and I was like, oh my God, is that a caterpillar? It was just like raining. So I kind of stopped in the middle of the rain and I was like, I gotta see this caterpillar. And then I poked it. It was not a caterpillar. It was like a bud pollen thing that came off of a plant, but it looked like
Oh,
a caterpillar. And then I was like, sorry for stopping. I'm in a real eel phase right now. So anything worm like I have to stop for. And this person who literally started working in my office this week was like, wow, that's a sentence I never expected to hear.
going through an eel phase.
Yeah. And I am, okay. I need to send someone a picture of an eel. I forgot who I was talking to, but I owe somebody an eel picture. Oh,
Why don't you
probably.
send us an eel?
Well, I sent it to Yuki, but I'll just show you.
You sent me a picture of an eel, did you?
Yeah, you don't look at my Slack pictures that I send you. How hateful. Look at this eel.
Oh, that looks familiar.
Yeah. So whenever I opened my mouth, it opened its mouth. So we were both going together. It was really exciting. This was like 6 feet long.
Do you want to
Very-
know my eel story since you're going through an eel phase?
Yeah, here's my other eel.
Oh, it's a good eel.
Thank you.
So my eel story, we
Mhm.
were on our honeymoon in Belize. We did a snorkel tour. I might have told some of you the story because it's one of my best stories. And guy was swimming behind me. He was the last in line, right? And so I was right in front of him. And our tour guide, he put a little piece of fish on his little stick that he uses to point at things. And he was like, look, I'm gonna get this. His name was Alistair the eel. So Alistair comes out, eats the fish, swims down into his eel hole. And we're like, that was amazing, do it again. So he does it again, puts the fish on the stick, gets the eel to come out, eats the fish, goes down. And so we're like, that was great. We're going to move on to see the next thing. So we're swimming. And suddenly I feel Guy poke me in the coochie. And I was like, God, I know we're on our honeymoon, but please. And I turn around to look at him. And he's just like so scared out of his mind. He's terrified. And he's like pointing down. I look down. And Alistair the eel swimming down into his hole. He thought he was going to get another snack treat. He poked me right in the cooch. He poked me right in the cooch.
It's so funny.
Shout out to Alistair the eel.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I'm sorry that
But he
happened.
didn't bite me. It was. I mean, I was fine. He was the one who was scared. So
Sky is mortifying. Oh my God.
don't eat my wife.
Please.
Just got her.
Yeah. It's a great eel story.
It's a great
That did
eel
not
story.
disappoint.
Yeah. Anyone else have an eel story? This turned into the eel room.
Eels,
Sure, this isn't the random room.
eels on Maine. I love eels. For reals.
I mean, I've seen eels like while snorkeling, but I don't know if I have I don't have anything like that.
An eel story.
I don't have eel story. I have snapping turtle stories. but not eel story.
Oh, what's your snapping turtle story?
One time when I was a kid, I was in my stepdad's parents' truck in the swamps and we were going to somewhere and there was a snapping turtle in the road and Shelly, my grandma, she was like, oh, we got to get this out of the road. She's like kind of confusing because she's definitely like a Trump Republican, but not at the time because this was in like the early aughts. But she also was like, we gotta save this literal fucking dinosaur. So sorry to the recording. So they like went and she took a stick and poked at this. Snapping turtles can bite your limbs off, but just in case we weren't all clear on that, they can remove appendages. So she was poking it with a stick and her in flip flop, trying to move it across the road. I was like, I was 8 and I was like, I will not get out of this car. Anyways, so she almost lost some toes, but she was fine in the end. And then like a few years later, when I was in my teens, I used to live near a river and I was running in my neighborhood and I saw this like painted belly turtle on one side of the road, right, which is much smaller. They lay their eggs in people's driveways a lot because they need like dry sand to dig in or whatever. So it had just laid eggs, clearly. And we used to like play with them all the time when I was little. So I was like, oh, I know what that is. But then I saw this bigger snapping turtle across the road. And I was like, oh God, no. So, but it looked like it was trying to eat the painted belly turtle. So I was like, that won't do. This turtle just gave birth to eggs and you can't eat it. So I picked it up and I like ran it towards the river and dropped it off and then carried on in my route. When I get back to where this snapping turtle was, this guy turned around and he was waiting for me. And like, I had to run into a ditch. And while I was running into the ditch in this person's yard, like it sprinted at me. So I was sprinting, it was sprinting. You think turtles are slow, but they're sprinting. So we're sprinting. And then I ran away. And then I was like super afraid of snapping turtles actually for like a good year.
That's justified.
Thank you. There lies my snapping turtle story. Yeah.
Terrifying. I'm looking up a picture of a snapping turtle. They look scary.
Yeah, there's
Really
one called the
scary.
alligator snapping turtle that looks particularly horrifying. It was not that. It was like a smaller one, but still scary. I was scared.
Making enemies.
Making enemies out in the streets. I've seen bears in my yard, which is weirdly less scary because bears tend to like, they'll just go, they just want snacks. Just
How
go
fast
away.
do the turtles go? Like you said, sprinting, like
miles per hour or like,
or I'm not sure. Like, can you like if I see one, do I need to walk or run away?
well, if you see one, just definitely stay like 6 feet away from it for sure. It's not like a Komodo dragon. It's not going to be, or an iguana even. It's not going to like at you, but would keep a healthy
I think you should
distance.
run, Carrie, just to be safe.
Well, if you just walking past, the odds of you're not going to see it unless you're literally by the water. They're so big, they don't get that far away, I don't think.
Oh, how big are they? Do I not
No.
understand what a snapping turtle is?
Okay. This is like
Oh.
a painted belly turtle. No, this is
Uh-huh.
not. This is like normal turtle. Very fun. This is like snapping turtle. And this,
Oh,
It's like a sea
but that's
turtle.
like a freshwater. They can get like this big, at least.
wow.
But not here because we don't have that. I think in the southern like Mississippi River, like in other, I think in warmer climates, they might be bigger. Up here, they're kind of small. To my knowledge, I don't know what lurks in the depths of the lakes, and I don't want to know. There's too many lakes to know the answer to that.
Wow.
It's so crazy as someone from California. I'm like, I'll see possums and raccoons, but that's about it.
They're so cute.
Possums are so funny. Yeah, if you want to see some bears, just like come hang out here. It's not unusual to see them. One time my bus driver when I was a kid tried to like invite one on the bus. That was kind of
What?
A
Yeah.
He
bear?
really hated you.
No, he was kind of lawless. He would let us stand on the bus, which you're not supposed to do. But his name was Ralph. He was the best. But there was this like bear crossing the street, crossing the road. This is truly out in the middle of nowhere though. And it had like 2 little babies. And he was like, "You want to get in?" And you open the bus door. And the bear wasn't going to get in that fast. But the bear was like, "How do I get the heck out of here?" He used to do that for like porcupines too. Just random animals. He'd be like, "Want to get on?" Shout out to Ralph. He's probably dead. Rest in peace, Ralph. Wherever you are.
I'm gonna find Ralph and send him this recording.
I moved when I was a kid. I was so like, I was not sad to move houses. This was like the first house I was conscious of living in, or the second one. But I was so sad because Ralph wouldn't be my bus driver anymore. He's my first bus driver ever for like a few years. So I was pretty heartbroken.
It's your first love. You never forget your first bus driver.
I forget your first bus driver. I'm gonna take that to therapy now. The whole funeral thing I wrote, I'm gonna write another one for Ralph.
Oh my god. All right. Well, on that note, I'm gonna close our breakout room that I totally bungled. Apologies.
Yeah.
I'm curious
All
about
right.
room 5.
Yeah, me too.
Did people go in there? Oh, nobody went in there.
No.
Or the random one.
Yeah, what they
A
talk
lot of
about.
people went into random.
That was the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a hot one.
it's a fun one.
Hannah, can I have your permission to leave all of your scary animal stories in?
Oh, yeah. Who does anybody watch these?
People do.
Oh,
Wait, I'm gonna cut that out because I don't want people to be so surprised.
no, it's okay. You can leave because I feel like there's at least 10 minutes in every call where I say something really strange for like 10 minutes straight and then
Just
it's
tater tot stories.
Potatoes.
Hi,
Welcome.
And we're back.
and we're back.
And we're live, Julia.
Julia was like, I gotta get out of this room. These people are
Stayed for
weirdos.
the eels. You should have stayed for the eels, everyone.
I noticed the random room is still
You're still in there?
Still going.
Oh, they're still going. Dang.
Still going. They had too much random stuff to talk about. Well, if you want to watch the recording later, there's a bonus episode, bonus content about snapping turtles and eels, and how not to get attacked by them. So enjoy that. But for the other rooms that were probably less chaotic, anything that came up, anything you want to share, any love you want to send around? Or are we still waiting for the last room?
Nancy? Is
And
she
Style? Wait, where's Nancy? Oh, there she is. Oh yeah. Oh good. Yeah. Anything anyone wants to share? Julia, you're unmuted, so you should share something.
No,
And you
I
like
just
to
wanna
talk.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I just want to send a big warm hug for everyone. I was in the support. Oh, thank you. I was in the support room, and I don't know, the gratitude protocol. It was a good thing that has happened to me today, and also made me cry. So, thank you for bringing that to the room. But it was really emotional, I have to admit. And I was sharing about the experiences in the support room and actually asking for support. I need support. So that's what I did in the room. So, but thank you, everyone. It was, and also I will say, even though I feel like we are halfway now, right, throughout the program, and there are less people in the room since we started, but the energy is still there. And I was telling, it's amazing how we are still here together. Okay, love you, everyone. I stopped talking.
We love you. All right. Anybody else want to share anything? Yeah, never stop talking. Anybody else?
Can I share something?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Now I'm planning to change my job, and I don't know what is the best. Yeah, what is the best for me at the time? In the breakout room, Style give me some information about my job, and she helped me a lot because the first she introduced to me about the VIA program. I don't know about that totally, but at the time she called me and she explained me about the program for a long time. Yeah, now in the breakout room, we don't have a title. We talk like this or those. At the time, she told me about the some useful tips for education. Yes, after after the class, I'm gonna find for my new job because Stein gave me some information about it. Thank you, Stein.
Good luck. Yeah, that is super supportive. All right, well, I think we're at the end of our time, but I realized I missed one message in the chat from Aylin, which is about watching Beef, which is something I really want to watch. It's that new Netflix show with I forgot her name, Ali Wong, and that Taiwanese guy. I think it's Taiwan. So is he? Yeah. go watch that and enjoy. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Stephen Yun. Yun? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Korean.
I don't know. Okay. Oh, he's Korean? Oh, I totally messed that up. Sorry. Sorry, Stephen. All right. Well, sending you lots of love. And if you need support, definitely send us a message in the Signal chat. We're here for each other. And we'll keep in touch and talk in 2 weeks. And complete all of your assignments on time.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I love you. Bye.
Bye.
Fellas
Thank
could
you.
stay on. That
Bye.
would be great. Bye.